PS3 Network.
Bring back that beat, DJ.
I'm on
Mic check. Mic check. 21. Oh, let's get this right. We don't care that we having company. Wilks still not like the food.
Yeah. I'm on the request line.
DJ Peace.
Yes.
There we go.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Forcast with myself, HRap, Mayhem, and King Dawk. As we review movies, films, documentaries a completely different way, 4 different perspectives. Coming at you every single Monday right at this time, 8:30 Central. Tonight, man, we got a great documentary. Also, we got 2 special guests on the show as well, but we will be reviewing Blue Chippers, The Next Man Up. And Dawk, go ahead and give us a rundown.
Yes, sir. We'll hit this overview. Blue Chippers is a feature-length documentary that dives into the world of college football recruitment, focusing specifically on the past of 4 highly touted high school players from rural Louisiana as they make a decision that will continue to reverberate throughout their lives long after they hang up their cleats. The film collides with the Supreme Court decision to permit name, image, and likeness legislation, allowing college athletes to sign endorsement deals, which caused a tectonic shift in how the NCAA operates. The directors and our special guests today are the Dark brothers, Derek and Preston Dark. The runtime of this documentary is 1 hour and 42 minutes. Here we go.
Yep. Let's go ahead and bring these 2 brothers on. They are twins out of Louisiana. A well-done film, really giving you the inside scoop on recruiting that some of us don't know, how the parents feel, how the athletes feel. Let's go ahead and bring them in. Derek and Preston, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having us.
What's happening, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So a little bit of backstory. We're at Super Bowl Radio Row this past year, roaming around, interviewing different people, and Derek comes by and he was like, hey, can y'all interview me? I have this documentary. And we were like, yeah, let's go ahead and set it up. And interesting enough, obviously it's a documentary. We review documentaries. So it was really a perfect situation. And, now we're here tonight to discuss this documentary and also review it as well, give our thoughts on it. And make you guys feel at home, say how you feel. We crack jokes. This is not your traditional Fissel and Ebert. We're not buttoned up or anything like that. So, but tell us.
Just real quickly, they from the boot, which you could tell in the first 3 words they spoke behind stage and backstage. So, y'all just do what you do, baby.
Yeah. For sure.
Got that.
Yeah, I ain't got no booty involved with you, dude.
All right now.
But Preston, I'll come to you first. Tell the viewers about yourself and how this came about.
Yeah, I'm Preston Dark, one half of the Dark brothers, and just a portion of the Dark family. The way how this project came about, it was brought to the attention of my brother by 2 of his friends. That one guy who he coached with in high school, which was Jordan Osmo and Jeremiah Gray, which are 2 mentors that are actually in the film. And they had this bright idea about telling a story about football recruiting and how the way things was going, in which they knew at the time that things were going to be changing. So it was great to capture this process. So we had to interview about 12 kids to see if they would be fit for this particular role in our film, which we all came down to 4 kids. One of the kids are from our hometown of Houma, Louisiana, and the other kids they're from like the New Orleans area or the surrounding areas in Lafayette. So and Baton Rouge. So we got those kids together, and they all have pretty unique stories of where they come from, upbringing, and such. So it was a great piece to put together and to really tell a story of how college football recruiting goes, and from an authentic space. So that was like one of the good things to feel about it. Like it comes from a really authentic space. So yeah.
Yeah, and we can tell. I mean, you can tell when somebody puts something together, they care, they're from that area, so they're going to give it a different view than somebody outside, and we could definitely tell. And Derek, give us a little bit of information on yourself and your perspective on how this came about and the vision.
Yeah, so I'm Derek. I'm the other half of the Dawk brother, and another portion of the Dawk family. I've been coaching and teaching for like the past 12 years. And one of the main reasons, one of the big driving forces into making this film is to educate, our kids and also the parents about, the business of recruiting. Every year we get a new set of a freshman class, right? And part of this class, these kids want to be that 3-star, 4-star, 5-star athlete. Like they want to become that Division I prospect, right? And also their parents want them, to sign those scholarships, right? They want to be on side of their kid, signing that national letter of intent, taking those pictures, right? Witnessing their kid get their stardom. You know what I mean? And what happens is like a lot of them are led astray. They don't know, how to really matriculate the whole process. They don't even know how to start the process or even know how to get into the process. You think it just happens. So, that's why I really want to make the film to educate our kids and the parents. As a coach, like we dealt with, personally myself, I dealt with parents that wanted to get their kids recruited and they thought their kid was this and they thought their kid was that. Yeah. And really, they really just didn't have any knowledge of where their kids stand at or how to get them attention. So, I was definitely happy to to make this film just to show why, and now parents and kids, they have a different perspective on how the business of recruiting is. And also too, if you want to get recruited, you got 4 different ways on how to go about this in the film.
Yeah.
Let me kind of tell how me being personally, how this is pertinent in my life right now. But before I do this, let me just kind of give some background on the connection that I think I have with the Dawk brothers. Number one, I'm a father of twin boys. So we can do a whole nother show just on the aspect of twins. Trust me. In addition, Houma, that's where the alligator hunters is, right? Ain't that where they be doing the alligator fishing at or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Swamp people.
So they shoot.
That's right. Swamp people. That's right. Yeah. Used to watch it all the time. And then Baton Rouge, y'all mentioned that. Mike Anderson's one of the best restaurants right there on Lee Drive in Baton Rouge, one of the best restaurants in town, So I used to travel through Louisiana quite a bit with traveling baseball team, select baseball team. So we used to come through Louisiana quite a bit. But the reason why this particular documentary resonated with me, and I've been putting it out there more than any film we've reviewed, is because I actually have a cousin going through this process right now. His official visits, his non-official visits. I'm talking about big schools: USC, Oklahoma, Notre Dame. I'm talking about some big campuses he's been on, right? And so my uncle, fortunately, has been in the league and he's gone through the recruiting process. So he has a better understanding than the average parent does. But I even still said, hey, this is some valuable information. I wanted him to watch it because he gets a different perspective, right? So I was like, hey, y'all got to have him sit down and watch this just so he can get an understanding from some other kids, you know. And I think it's Jalen Lucas. Isn't that smaller, twitchy wide receiver, more like a slot wide receiver? That's exactly who he would mold after, you know. And he's been ranked very highly as a sprinter, you know, like he's been like number 1 or 2 as the number 1 or 2 ranked sprinter in the nation since he was 11, 12 years old, you know. So he's very familiar with the recruiting process and that kind of stuff. But I think even if they're familiar with it, they can get so much out of this, especially after I've watched it, you know. So I think it's super timely for our community, and I think it's got a lot of meat in it, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think with this type of documentary, like you said, Derek, it's educating parents, athletes, because I didn't know I knew there was stress. I knew there was kind of trying to convince people, but when you guys had that audio of the coach sitting down and was like, hey, either you come with me now or, you know, we got to go somewhere else. And I think just the different levels of this that I think the average person just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
HRap, and then HRap, who's you know, part of the show, part of the Forcast. He's also very big on community. So HRap, just anything you had for Preston and Derek as we get into it.
Oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed your project. I purchased it on Apple TV.
Appreciate that.
I want since you're a coach, Derek, I want to say thank you. You just watching this and listening, you say you're doing it for the last 12 years. It took me back to my coaches, Willie Green and Fred Thomas and Jimmy Fields, God rest his soul. The reason I'm thanking you is because those guys still have an impact on me to this day. So those young men that you're working with, trust and believe, Derek. I'm 55 years old, and me and my cousin Mike, who I just text to tell him tap in, we talk about this on a regular basis. It was about 17 of us that hung out together at one point here in Chicago, Illinois. The only people who are living and not incarcerated are the people that stayed with Jimmy, who stayed with Willie, and who stayed with Fred Thomas. So I want to thank you because simply just watching your documentary took me right back to Washburn Avenue here in Chicago Avenue. I'm at Chicago, Illinois, and it really touched me. So I want to thank you. And you guys have a wonderful product. And trust me, as young men, me and Mike always talked about it, but it didn't sink in until our children became like teenagers. So first and foremost, thank you for the work that you're doing. And trust me, man, in about 10 or 15 years, these young men are going to start coming back to you and thank you if they're already not doing it. So you do a hell of a job with those young people. I mean, and like me and my coach, Coach Green, we had a 3-hour conversation a week ago today. And that's how important it is. So, man, it was awesome watching this. It took me back to the mid-'80s when I was going through that. And I just want to thank you.
Man, I appreciate that, brother, man. No worries. Well, to see, man, that's big time, man. For real. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, it was like 17 of us. Only of us, me, Mike, Walter, Rick Nash. Walter and Rick Nash are brothers. Wayne Freeman, and maybe 1 or 2 others have not either been into the penitentiary, dead, or struggling with substance abuse. And that's because we stayed. So, man, trust and believe. It may not happen for 10 years. Because Coach Green, I choked him up, and I've never seen him choked up when I told him thank you a week ago. So trust me, you are making a difference. Even if they don't go on to the league, I have issues in corporate America to this day because all Coach Green, Coach Fields, and Coach Thomas taught us was together, work together. You know, be a superstar at your position. I know you guys say the same things to y'all children. So, hey, man, that stuff, when I got to corporate America and those guys, and when I go to help somebody and they be like, hold it, they're not on our team. I'm like, well, we work in the same office. What are you talking about? It annoys me.
Yeah,
so thank you for working with those young men, and thank you for the product that you put out. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Mayhem. So some initial thoughts, and then if you have any feedback or questions for.
No, I mean, this was really big, and I mean, I was locked in. Like, as soon as I saw the mentorships and how hard these young men and the coaches that were genuine, really trying to take them under their wing, and just the quality of this documentary, I mean, it was amazing. And I was just mind blown. Like, I forgot how far, sports in high school, period, in college has come, because I mean, like I said, we weren't measuring how fast we're running. We weren't seeing how far we could jump and leap and all. I mean, we weren't measuring all those things. We weren't taking those into accountability. Like, that wasn't the way we were trying to get the next step up over our competition or whatever. But no, this was done well. You can tell, like, from the gentleman that did make this cut, it was just like, hey, this is my passion. People are looking at me. I don't know how many are really looking at me, because I'm really just trying to mold my craft. I'm not trying to get distracted by the noise. And this was just done really well, and I enjoyed it. And, of course, I thought about HRap, because I know how he talked about community and being in sports and him playing football. And, of course, with, Dawk, raising his kids, and it was just kind of like, man, this is big. It's bigger than football, really. I mean, this is football.
There's life outside of football.
Football is that mask. It's that smoke screen. But I mean, even the joy on the parents, even though they didn't crack too many smiles, but you could tell they realized, oh, this is not something they just take it lightly. Like, I mean, they, and the young man that was talking about his mom, he's like, hey, my mom didn't have to come home and make breakfast and get us started. If my mom can do this, surely I can get out here and put in this hard work. So those things like that, man, it's just big. Those little small things that become mountains, they start out small and they just grow from there. And like HRap said, I don't care if these gentlemen are 56, if they get in the gold jacket, if they not getting the gold jacket, whatever it is, they getting the business promotion, whatever it is, because they still had to keep their grades up. They didn't talk about what maybe they were majoring in, but that's not the point. But they're not going to forget it. They're not going to forget it. I mean, it's one thing. It definitely will come back to you, in so many ways, whether it be small or large. But no, this was awesome. This was great. I enjoyed it. It was definitely great to see this. I definitely had to buy it too. So yeah, not rent it. I had to buy it. I need it. Need it in the collection.
yeah, that's what I did. I bought it because I wanted to. Every young kid in my family who comes to the house, you got to sit down and watch this. You're in athletics, which a lot of them are. You got to watch this,
Right.
But to piggyback on HRap and talked about the impact of coaches, I've been on both sides of that. As a coach, when you get a kid that reaches back out, like most of the kids, I've had a couple of players drafted into the major league, to the MLB, and into the NFL. But the kids that have the biggest impact are the ones who just are living life, and they reach back out and they say, I just got engaged, where she's pregnant with our first kid. And I wouldn't be the man that I was without you, coach, and I still remember when you said XYZ, and the way it resonates with you and the way it touches you on how you impacted their lives unknowingly, but HRap talked about the father aspect of it, especially in our community, right? We got a lot of kids who have absentee fathers, so coaches fill in that role. Quincy Wiggins was one of them, right? He, in this documentary where he talked about Coach O and LSU athletics. And when Coach O left, he was like, that affected him. He ended up entering the transfer portal. He's now in Colorado. But in this documentary, he talked about how Coach O was a father figure to him, man. And a lot of these kids are like that. Dion probably has half the kids in this program see him the exact same way. If you followed their story, some of his kids even got dads in the penitentiary, who he's trying to make sure they're connected, and fatherhood happens to be the show that we're going to cover next week on Queen 3 and King, because guess what? This kid was on a show who said, I didn't think I was as good as everybody else because they all had dads. So the impact of fatherhood to something like this and what coaches mean in this process, and getting somebody you can actually trust, is huge, So again, I think Quincy Wiggins' program, story, which is still ongoing and yet to be finished, it's still being written, right, is a fascinating one, just simply because of the fatherhood aspect and the impact of coaches.
Yeah. And I'll say I think one of the best things about this is that you gave information. It wasn't just people's opinion. So you came out with the first fact was, out of 1 million high school athletes, only 10,000 D1 scholarships, less than 2% make it to the NFL, which I think people don't realize, that we all have dreams, aspirations, but also there's a realistic part of it too, that just in case this doesn't happen, injury, anything could happen, what are you going to do? And so I wanted to come to you, Derek, and like, how major is that for people to see and realize that there's a small percentage, and when we say small, 2% that make it to the league?
Yeah, man, it's a very small percentage. I think, people just really just don't think about it like that. But the truth is, like, it's more than likely you're not gonna make it to the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the truth. Like, more than likely you're probably not gonna make it.
Yeah.
I mean, so you got to be able to identify with something outside or something away from the field, right? Or find that talent, right? Because we have a mental health therapist, right? And one of the things is,
that was great too, by the way.
Yes.
One of the things that she said is, like, you got to choose a school that's best fit for the whole person.
That's right. That's right, man. That's strong. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, you get to that school just to play football, but like, it's the best fit for you as a whole person to grow, right?
Yeah.
I tell my kids, like, hey man, like, football cool.
Yeah.
Right? Getting a scholarship is cool. But make it to the NFL is a lanyard if you get there. But what happens if you don't get there? Like, let's think about being the next head football coach. Let's think about being the commissioner of the SEC, right? Let's think about being the athletic director of the college, of the the 4-year university, right? Putting, I want to put their minds right into thinking, like, hey, look, you don't have to just be a coach, right? You can be this, you can be that within the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got to have people, right, that work with these programs, that keep this program operating. All right, and they got to do it on a high level. And those people are getting paid pretty decent money.
Like cash, homie.
Yeah. I got a nephew. He just hopped in the transfer portal. He played basketball at Southern University. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he got about 2 more years left. Right. So I'm in his head now, like, hey man, think about coaching. Like, he was actually at McNeese State with Will Wade. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just last year, right? And I was like, look, man, Will Wade is like, he runs an NBA style program.
Yeah.
Right. So you just being a grad assistant up under him, right? Just learning how he coached, right, can just take you a whole long way. Right. Because you're gonna have to, like, your legs only gonna make you so much.
That's right.
You're only gonna have them legs for so long.
Right.
But you can coach, right, forever. Right. You can be an athletic director for forever.
Yeah.
Right? As long as your mind is sharp.
And if you get under a coach with that kind of cachet that has coached you, he will carry you as he moves up the chain. He'll bring you with him. You may only start out as a position coach, but guess what? There are going to be programs looking for coaches who coached under this great coach. I can't get him, but let me see if I can't get some of his disciples.
That's that coaching tree.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Why, that's why you got so many of Shanahan coaches under him coaching everywhere. I mean, probably a third of the league is a Shanahan coaching tree. So.
Just to piggyback off that real quick, my son called me today, and he's like, "Dad, I'm getting kind of sluggish in the electrician field because he's doing electrician work." And he's like, "Man, I'm kind of tired of laying the pipe work and running the wires." I said, "Andre," I was like, "That's just a stepping stone." I was like, "That's where you start the grunt work. You lay that foundation." I was like, "You can go into anything with electrician under your belt." I was like, "If you like the math part of it, I was like, technical engineering is a wide, vast, endless. We're gonna always need that trade. Somebody's gonna always be willing to add on or put a network or a server in. I was like, if you're getting tired of installing utility boxes, and I was like, you're gonna always need. I mean, car companies need electricians.
Yeah,
they're designing a wiring harness for a certain vehicle, or I was like AT&T or small server companies and CDW, which is one of the biggest networking companies. I was like, you don't have to stop at just electrician work. I was like, hell, you can do electrician work. You're like, hey, maybe my uncle be like, hey, I'm adding the room to the house. If you can just come wire it up. But that's, you got the knowledge of that portion, but you might be doing IT work, but you still have that small knowledge of electrician work. So it's just like what Dawk was saying, and like Derek was saying, it was like you start here and it grows from there. Hey, what about being the commissioner, or what about being the scout president or something like that, president of operations? Because guess what? I use this example because it's probably I've seen it a lot, but since of course I'm a 49ers fan, I apologize. But I see it with John Lynch. John Lynch is playing the game, but his defense is going to be stout because he played the position. He played that role. So he knows that, hey, I got to pick these people. These are the people I want in position. It's like, but he's the president of operations, but yeah, he's also watching how the game is being played because he's been there. He's been on that field. He's studied the game. So yeah, it's always a doorway to where you're trying to get to.
And as far as Andre is concerned, he needs to think ownership.
And that's what I told him.
If you need an example, tell him to come holler at me. I started out in the field cleaning carpet.
I definitely will. But like I told him, I was like, Andre, I was like, learn these things, because then you might get one guy under your belt. And then the next time you got 5 guys under your belt, sending them out to do jobs because you know the job, you know how it should be done. And if you got to come back and inspect the work, that's how you do it. That's how you get going. I was like, if you're getting this knowledge now, that's going to carry you further into the future. That's where it starts. So yeah, no, that's why I said this documentary is great, because it's a lot of nuggets in here.
Yeah,
a lot of gems that it can go so many different ways. And I get it. You got the blinders on at that age, and all you see is NFL.
Yeah.
Draft. I gotta make it. Hey, I gotta get my mom's new house. I gotta get out of it. I gotta make a better way. I get it. But at the end of the day, like I said, there might be another avenue. It might be heartbreaking because you didn't get that team you wanted, but hey, who knows? There's another avenue.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the quote of the documentary that supersedes athletics, and that is "Be where your feet at." That quote alone says so much, man. Yeah. Be where your feet at. That's living in the moment. That's absorbing everything that's taking place where your feet is at. Take it all in, because it can contribute to the rest of your life, man. That is the quote of the documentary.
And like I said before, to piggyback off of Dawk, you don't curse your training ground. That right there, don't curse it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you may have to fall to your knees and go back to it. Don't curse it. Use it as a blessing. Use it as I'm telling you, this documentary is great, man. It's beyond. I don't even know the great news in the word. I don't even know.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Be where your feet at.
Right. Be where your feet at.
Hey, that needs to be on some coffee cups, man.
Yeah.
Right. That's a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's a t-shirt right there, man.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
HRap, you have something you want to add?
I was going to ask Preston. I'm assuming because your brother's the coach, it would be your idea of the documentary. And if that's the case, what inspired you to do it?
Oh, I'm actually the DP. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm the one who shot everything.
Oh, okay.
And just responsible for how everything came out to look. So of course I had some ideas here and there, but just to make sure, like whenever I was shooting this, I wanted to capture this in a way to where when people view this, I wanted it to be surreal. I wanted them to be in a moment. I wanted them to be that person that was maybe in that audience at that point in time, looking at those kids doing a 7-on-7 or performing at the 5-star camp. I wanted to make sure you had a seat at that particular table. So whenever you decide to pull up, you're gonna see everything was going on that's available to you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and it was live. It was up close. I mean, you did a hell of a job because you felt like you were in it. Like I'm sure I can speak for all of us that when we were watching this, we're like, man, this is it's up close. It's giving you everything that you want, and we were like, damn, it's over with already.
Yeah. I was like, dang, I already got this. I need to watch this with my Uncle Joe because he coached girls basketball, and of course, when I was growing up. And I always had to hear, "Oh, your uncle, Coach Joe." Yes, that was Coach Joe. But I got that a lot. But I need to pass this doc on to him because I'd like to see his perspective because he's known as Coach Joe. But I mean, that was the thing. It's what he did, and I believe he coached volleyball as well. But I know he definitely did a little football, but definitely girls basketball was his thing. So I'll just have to check this out with my uncle too, see what he thinks about it.
Yeah, Derek, you wanted to add something?
Oh yeah, so one of my inspirations, right, in making this film, HRap, you say you Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's this famous documentary that was done, right, about two Chicago athletes.
I know what you're talking about. He grew up in my neighborhood, Gates.
Huh?
Gates and Arthur.
Yeah, Gates and Arthur. Yep.
Hoop Dreams.
Hoop Dreams. Hoop Dreams was probably like my biggest inspiration into making this film.
You love it.
You know, watching Hoop Dreams. I mean, I must have watched it like a million times, you know, while making my documentary because it was just it just captured it in a way, right? You know, that journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the obstacle.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the dad was being president and not being president, and the moment that really got me, you know, and Hoop Dreams when the mom's lights was off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It showed you everything, the good, bad, and the ugly.
I would say your documentary is better simply because we got to know these young men.
Yeah.
We knew, you know, me, my man Big Illinois, he usually watches the show as well. We knew Arthur and Gates. And like you guys, y'all took it to their family, you took it to the tragedy of the natural disaster and things like that. Like Gates had like 5 brothers who were better than him, actually.
Oh wow.
And if they'd have get into that would have helped. Just like you guys took it deep into levels. You got his brother at FSU and things of that nature. If they would have, so you took that inspiration and you took it to the next level. Mm-hmm. And you know, and like I said, you continue to resonate with me because the name HRap itself was given to me by my coach. My dad is a Panther, right? So I was always talking this pro-black stuff.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, "Okay, Rap Brown, knock it off." And the guys told out they was cracking on me. So I'm like, "Oh, he called me HRap Brown." And my guy's like, "Hey, he called you Rap Brown." And I was like, "You don't get it." So trust me, man, I'm watching this and I'm like embracing you guys through this. And then the fact that you took something from my personal neighborhood, guys that I know, you know what I mean? And this took it there. And it is truly part of my mission when I do my podcast to show people that we have more things in common than separate. So man, salute again, man. And your brother with the direction. Impeccable, man. That's NFL Films level quality.
Yeah,
right.
Is this y'all's first project, or y'all got other projects that are out there before this?
We got 2 movies that's on Tubi.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I support Tubi.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
the genre? You know, they showing titties on it, or what the deal is, man? We need to know.
It's urban, you know.
Preston almost spit his drink out, man. I didn't know you could say titties on this show. Yeah, we can, man.
All right.
I'm just
I mean, you know what? The first one they actually do.
Oh, my brother.
And you know what? I'm filming it.
Lessons up to you, my brother. Go in peace.
It's hard filming those type of scenes.
I bet.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet. Now, so the subject matter. So these are like legit movies. They're not necessarily about athletics. They're different genres.
It's not a documentary.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's different genre. It's like a comedy film. a comedy drama. So
I got Tubi on the TV right now. I just gotta get the app. I just gotta hit the button.
I love it.
And then, and Derek, you remember when we met at the Super Bowl? You were saying you started off doing music videos. Is that right?
Yeah, we did. We shot tons of music videos. Some people favorite rappers like we shot for NBA YoungBoy, Young Dawk, Flo Rida,
Big Crit, Dear Silas,
Aha Gazelle, Juvenile, Turk.
Love it.
Are you in there?
Yeah, we don't work with those. Yeah.
You in there?
And so, how was it going from music videos to film? Is that a huge jump, or is that kind of a bridge?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. We just got, when you in the music video world, like the highest level that you can go in the music video world is having your, at the time whenever we was doing it, is having your video played on television, like national television. So once we achieved a video playing on national television, which was 106 in Park back in the day, like once you actually go through with that, and you work with labels like music video labels such as like Rock Nation or Republic Records or Atlantic, you do those things and you're entertaining people for 3-4 minutes max.
Right.
I got to the point to where like I want to entertain for more than that. I want to entertain for 100 times as much as that. So I want to entertain for you for a couple of hours. So I want to have something that you watch for a couple of hours, that you talk about, that you have debates on in the barbershop. Like I want to be in those. I want to be in those environments and conversations. That's why I want my work to live and be around. So I had a conversation one day on a music video with an artist by the name of That the Kid. So at the time I remember talking to the kid. I'm like, hey man, I see you in Power, because he was in Power. And because he was signed a G Unit at the time. So him and 50 was pretty cool back then. And I seen him in Power. He had a couple scenes in there. I was like, man, kid, man, you still thinking about doing more acting? He was like, yeah, man, I want to do some more acting. And I know at the time, I guess he wasn't with G Unit anymore. And so I told him, I was like, man, I'm trying to do movies. He was like, man, for real? He was like, man, look, take my number. We exchange numbers. And literally like a month later, we get a call. He was like, hey, look, I got my homeboy such and such. He want to meet with y'all and talk about a script that he got. He want to do a web series. So that web series, we started filming. And once we got the edit back, we was like, this could actually be a movie. So that's what we did. We went back and shot like 30 more pages. And we made it into a full feature-length film. So this is back in like 2018, 2019. So it was because I had that conversation with Kid that kind of led us to getting into movies. Like really, really into movies a whole lot more than that really pushed us forward. And then we started doing like short films. I mean, we worked with Lil Rel one time because he had a thing that he was doing. He was working with some folks, and Rel was the EP of a project that we had worked on. I mean, we just really want to just do our own thing and kind of spread our wings. And this is what we really wanted to get into. So the music videos is there. It's just that we wanted to take that initial step, like a F. Gary Gray. That's one of my. That's a director who I really like and I enjoy his work. So he started off in music videos and now he's in the movies. So, or the Garcia brothers from New Orleans, they started off doing music videos and they got into movies, which was Cain and Abel. So,
oh, that's them?
I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Master P, he really inspired us because, I got the hookup. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Those things was dear to us as young children because they was from where we was from. We walked the same areas.
Right.
So I just wanted to say, hey, look, we wanted to kind of be like them in a sense. So we want to do the things that they did. And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, let me just say this. I'm gonna speak something into your lives here, Dark Brothers. It sounds like to me you want to impact the culture impact the community, right? Have a film out there that is talked about for generations, like a Coming to America, right? To where you got quotable lines and things of that nature. Well, in order to reach the top, you got to have a story within a story. What do I mean by that? Well, the Farrelly brothers, the Coen brothers, the Russo brothers, these are famous director brother duos, right? Well, guess what? They get a more of a conversation just simply because they got a story within themselves. They are brothers. They are a duo, which is unusual, right? So the fact that you are a duo of brothers, that story within the story will get you into some doors, into some rooms that you may not otherwise get into. So relationship building sounds like it's already a part of what you do, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally. And I'm telling you to be more intentional about your relationship building, because that combined with your story is going to get you where you're trying to go, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. Right.
What's some of your favorite? What would be your favorite F. Gary Gray movie? He's your inspiration. And what's yours, Derek?
Say that again.
What are you two just top 3 F. Gary Gray projects?
It would have to be Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah. That was good.
Because here's another thing that really inspired me. So Straight Outta Compton, that movie, first of all, was shot like I felt like I was back in that time. Like I was back in that time. Also, I like the fact how they picked Easy, that particular character with Jason Mitchell. He's from New Orleans, but he really killed that character.
Yep.
Like he really did that justice, like no doubt. The only thing I didn't like was how the way they did Snoop Dogg, but we know the reason why.
Yeah.
But other than that though, that's one of my favorite. But he's like a director to me that I'm always appreciative of his journey and path. But when it comes to my favorite films, I mean, it's things like Above the Rim, Inkwell. Like I like the classic movies.
That's a good one.
And how the way they make us black folks look in those movies. Like we're beautiful in those movies.
Love it, man.
It's like a 90s renaissance I get what you're saying. Those movies, when they were dropping, I mentioned this before, like, Living Single and Martin. And, just that era of the 90s, and it maybe even coming out of the 80s into the 90s. And, it's just the way they were represented, the music, and neo soul was popping up, and just the way things, the way things were going in the movies that were coming out and how they were representing us. Because Inkwell is definitely the nail on the head. It's perfect. But yeah, it was just one of those things where it was an era of, it gave you that nostalgia. And I know what you mean by Straight Outta Compton, because it just kind of like teleported you back. It just had that feeling. And I think it's one of those things that you just have to kind of go back to, and it's like, man, this is the feeling I want when I watch this. I didn't expect this feeling, but man, they hit it right on the nose. So I definitely understand what you mean.
Yeah, it's that feeling, man. It's that feeling. Yeah. It's so crazy because those movies are 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
Right? New Jack City.
Yeah.
What's another one? Sunset Park.
Yeah.
I know those are sports related, but it's the fact.
It's Class Act.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
Hey, man. Like,
Class Act, like that's another one. Hate the music. Why you want to play with my phone?
House Party.
House Party.
Man, there's still quotable lines.
Yeah.
Like we say, Coming to America. I'm always running around the house saying something from that movie. I got my daughter saying it. She's 13. I mean, it's just those are those types of movies, and you guys are definitely there. I mean, we already said one quotable just out of this, and you're doing Gary, justice with what you've done with this. So So definitely applaud yourself, but continue moving forward. So,
but hold on, I got to give love to Spike though. Spike Lee.
oh yeah, fact.
Yeah.
I don't know about HRap though, but yeah.
I gotta show love to some famous brothers. They twins, bro.
Yes.
Forget the Hughes brothers.
Brother. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
man.
the Hughes brothers, like they work, man, so influential.
Yeah.
And look, they kind of started off just like how me and my brother did. They started off shooting music videos, right? They shot Brenda's Had a Baby, like Tupac.
Yeah, it's big.
You know what I'm saying? And then it went on to do Menace to Society.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Was like a staple in the black community.
Yes, sir.
Everybody could resonate with Kane, and you know what I'm saying. What his name is, Loke Dog.
Nah, it's not Kane. Man, his name not Loke Dog in there.
No, it's Loke Dog. Loke Dog is from Don't Be a Menace while you're drinking your juice.
Juice in the
I'm gonna forget his name, but Old Dog, my bad. Old
Dog, man.
Yeah, Old Dog.
Cousin Harry, man.
Yeah,
Harry, man.
They're presidents.
Hey, that's a classic.
Man.
That's one of those you gotta own that one. You gotta own their presidents.
Those clients. It's just the way they, like you said, it's the way they represented us and how we acted in those movies and how things just resonated, and it takes you back to that moment. I mean, like I said, you can watch New Jack City and In Too Deep and all of it's just one of those things where it just you're gonna go. It just does something to you. So yeah, I totally get it.
In Too Deep, like Omar Epps. Man, like
Jay Reed, you ain't no cop, Jay Reed.
Jay Reed,
you ain't no cop, Jay Reed.
Jay Reed had me believing I can go be a detective.
That's what it's about. That's what it grabs you. That's why I said that's why I said when I watched this documentary, I mean, I thought about Dawk and I thought about HRap, of course, Ben, and then of course with, like I said, my uncle being a coach and growing up around Pee Wee football and playing a little bit, but I mean, I was just like locked in and just seeing these young men, how they were just trying to, hey, I'm trying to get my name in the books too. I'm trying to go down as a great one. I'm trying to start a legacy, and how they're starting at that bottom and they're just cutting away and nicking away at it. So I totally get it. That's why I was like, man, this is one that's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah, my uncle literally called me 3 weeks ago fussing about my little cousin's ranking. It literally.
Let's get into that.
Man, he dropped him 20 plays. I mean, I'm talking about adamant about like his 40 time, and I'm like, I figure, calm down. It's still early. He's just a junior,
But talk about the rating system, the star system.
Yeah.
Is it flawed? There go Preston.
I'm gonna say this: if you get a kid that receives a offer as a freshman from a Division I blue blood, your LSU's, your Notre Dame's, Florida State's, Clemson's, those programs. If you get an offer as a freshman, 9 times out of 10, that particular freshman will grow to be a 4-star kid. And some of these kids, we even say in the documentary, some of them, hey, at a freshman, some of them might stop growing.
Yeah,
true.
Some of them don't get any better. And then that's where things fall off. Some of them get complacent, and those things happen. And that's why I think we see people that may call it flawed. But that's how the 5 stars happen. They get offered as a freshman from a blue blood program, and then everybody else goes in to offer them.
Yeah.
But if you see the kids still excelling and in sophomore, junior year, then yes, he's going to definitely pan out to be a 4 or 5-star kid. But if not, he may just remain a 3-star or a 2-star. So that's how that ranking system goes. I mean, to my knowledge.
Would you say there's some politics in the ranking system?
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. I mean, we look at it now in basketball with LeBron James kids.
Yeah.
I mean, do you really believe his kids is 5-star kids?
No.
No. No.
No.
I mean, some people have their own opinions. Some people say no. Some people say yes. But I mean, you don't even have to. I mean, LeBron James, he's the most biggest sports icon figure out there. But I mean, you got other kids too. I mean, what about? I would say, who's a? I kid you not. I remember standing. We was filming at the 5-star Rivals camp in Atlanta, and I remember I walked up to this tall, bald head, light skinned guy, and I remember standing next to the dude. I looked up. Okay, it's Jason Taylor. I'm like, who? I'm like, what's going on? He was like, hey, we spoke or whatever we talked. I told him what I was doing, and I was like, just curious. I was like, who you out here for? You scouting or whatever? He was like, no, I'm out here for my son. But I mean, son was the truth.
Yeah,
he was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, he you could put on the tape and see what he did at LSU. He was magnificent.
Yeah.
He came out as a junior. I mean, that doesn't happen often. I'm trying to think of other kids whose parents played the sport. I definitely think. You say who? Arch Manning. Yeah.
Yeah. And he can run. He can run too, which is a completely different trait that none of his.
Yeah.
None of his uncles, none of his dad, none of them had that.
Well, his daddy used to run when he played for the Saints.
Yeah.
His daddy used to run.
Yeah, sure
That's
did.
his grandpa.
Yeah, his grandpa. Yeah. Based on those that day standards, runner, but he was a runner.
Yeah. But his dad, Arch's dad, is actually from what I'm hearing and from what we've seen on like the news at the house whenever we would be at home, they say he was really the athlete.
Cooper.
Like
Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper.
That's why
he was a wide receiver.
He was a receiver.
I heard that.
Yeah, but he never. I don't think he never got.
He
just had like an injury that ended up.
Yeah. He had
my neck and my back.
Yeah, he had a back injury.
So there's some programs out there. I think TCU is one of them. They intentionally live on 3-star recruits. They don't pursue 4 and 5. They intentionally try to get a room full of 3 stars because they think most of them are misplaced, and probably are better than the 3-star. And they believe they can put a chip on their shoulder that says, man, you should have been 5. Come prove it over here.
Right.
You follow me? They live in the 3-star lane.
Yeah. And let's talk about Jalen Lucas, who committed to Indiana. And then, we were all doing our research, and this is what this did. I didn't know these young men at all, but the minute I'm like researching while it's going on, I'm pausing it to see what are they doing now.
Yeah.
So Jalen Lucas transferred to Florida State, but talk about sitting down with him, being a 3-star, but he didn't take that as all this is. He took it as definitely a chip on the shoulder, but he didn't took it as something that diminished his talent or made him upset or sad or anything. So Derek, talk about sitting down with him.
I'm gonna tell you something. Sitting down with Jalen Lucas, he might be the smallest guy on the field, but he's the biggest guy in the room.
That's
it's he says it like it's heart over height. And look, you can actually call his dad. The first time we did an interview, right, when we interviewed him, I said, Jalen Lucas, you're going to be an All-American your freshman year in college. I said, you're going to be All-American. Watch what I tell you. I knew it. I knew he was going to be the kid that was going to be the most successful out of all kids. And look, all those kids were just talented, but something with him, because, every kid has a presence about themselves.
Yeah.
And when you around that kid, you feel that presence.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to see, just to sit back and just see everything play out. Go to Indiana, right? What his journey, right? Terrebonne, right? Working out, boom, storm hits, right? Transfer to new school, don't really give him a chance. People really don't take him serious, right? Then boom, now he gets on the field, went from not playing at all to player of the week, right? Signs to a school that everybody had in question, like why would he go there? They're not going to do this. Gets to his freshman year, right, and pretty much becomes, the face of the school, right?
Man,
Every award that is,
Every award, every award.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So I knew that was going to happen, and like me and his dad, we have a great relationship. We talk about that to this day. He was like, "Dawg, man, you really said he was going to be an All-American?" I said, "Yeah, I knew that. I knew, man. I knew this kid was going to be on that level." And like now that he's at Florida State, watch what he do this season.
Oh yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with his dad and his dad's influence. You could see the type of relationship they had, and you could see that it was genuine, And I believe a lot of athletes, man, one of the notes that I made is I said strong parents or quality parents typically make quality decisions. Quality parents have an influence and an impact on those kids, man. Their work ethic, their thought process, their mentality, and how they develop in college and how they produce in college. And I know you can go story after story after story. You say it to yourself, if I could get his mama out the way, that kid can be great. If I could get his dad out the way, this kid would be great, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Because you got the other voices in his head, so he can get it straight.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about. I think it was LT was the one that torn his ACL. I think it was a partial tear, but Preston, talk about the therapist. I mean, whose idea was that? First of all, then second of all, the quotas that she gave, the nuggets that she gave, just those couple of times that she was on, can impact a athlete, big time. So Preston, talk about that.
About that's more Derek's lane. Go ahead and handle that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I kind of felt like it was important, to have the mental health aspect in it, because these kids, when they're going through this process, there's so much that we don't realize.
None of us realized it.
The pressure, man.
The pressure. Like you 16, 17 years old, and you talking to grown men, you communicate with them, many of them, for 20, 30, 40 hours a week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like it was just only right just to have that aspect, right? That perspective mentally of what these kids going through. And then, I didn't know LT was going to be injured. You know what I mean? Like we filmed.
That wasn't after that.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you how God worked.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how God worked, right? So I had a hit, right? It affected us so much. I'm a school teacher, so I was out of school for like 3 months. I didn't teach, right? But LT, Quincy, and Jacoby, they areas wasn't affected as much, right? So the first game we were deciding, say, man, what game we gonna shoot first? What game we gonna shoot first? And we were just like, man, we're gonna go to LT game, because LT was playing like the first week they was playing the last year's state championships, the state champions.
That game, okay.
So we was like, this is gonna be a great game. So we filmed it, and LT did an amazing job. Right, week 2 we went to film someone else. Week 3 go by, I get a text. LT torn his ACL. I said, what? And it's just crazy, like how it worked out. So like like the film actually like just wrote it, like God wrote this film.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
how many times y'all were at games where kids made big plays was just stupid, man. It's like these kids they talking about is making big plays.
Yeah, man. And man, I couldn't deny that, man. I was just like, man, we just gonna film it, man. And, it just, and just back again, just on the mental health aspect, it just had to have a presence in the film. I think it was big time.
Yeah, I think y'all did a good job of illustrating that, man. You called it they're making a 4 to 40 year decision. Yeah. And just if you just think about that for a second, if I had either one of us today said, okay, you got 6 months, you got to make a decision that's going to affect the next 4 to 40 years of your life.
Man.
And we grown men. The stress and the pressure and the anxiety that would give us knowing I'm getting ready to have to make a decision that that's going to affect, and I think the word reverberate is well done. That's going to reverberate to your life for 4 to 40 years, you know, based on the decision you make today. You know, I just think, man, that is just fantastic in terms of illustrating the huge decision that this is.
Right.
And the mental impact it would have.
Yeah. And one thing I love to hear and understand, and Preston, this may be the better question for you. How much footage did you have? Like, how many hours did you have? And then you had to narrow that down. Talk about that process.
Which was probably hard as hell.
Man, that's more Derek right there. Because was it like 60 hours of footage?
Wow.
Oh, Preston.
Oh my God. You kidding?
Wow.
Derek, how much was it?
It was like 100, man.
Oh.
Think about that, Preston. Like, we shot, like, the games was 3 hours.
Oh, you shot the whole game.
Yeah.
So that's 3 hours alone.
Yeah, that was
however many games they played that year.
Yeah. So we shot what, Preston? Like, we shot what, 3 games with Jacoby? Yeah, 3 games with Jacoby.
Yeah, because we shot the state championship.
Yeah. State playoff with him and LT, and then the first initial game, right? When we was kind of like learning who Jacoby was. And then, you know, we shot what, 2 of Jalen's games? And then we only could shoot one of LT games and one of Quincy games. You know, so and it just we shot like a whole bunch of B-roll footage. Then, you know, another thing that we went through, we had footage that was stolen. We got our camera.
Wow.
Atlanta. Yeah. When they was talking about the Atlanta, when they say they just left the football.
Yeah.
Oh,
that happened to y'all
really?
Too.
Oh yeah, man. Them dudes stole our camera. They stole like 3 of our cameras, laptops, lenses, and then the stupid ass little dudes. You know, I used to be around a lot. I know who to call. So I made a couple phone calls, like some G shit. Yeah. And I was like, hey, bro, you know somebody who came up on this? Like, literally, I had pictures of my cameras in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was like, man, these yours?
Wow.
I was like, yeah.
Wow.
So then the 2 dudes who stole them, that's what they do for a living. They find people who look out of place, and we kind of did.
Right. Yeah.
And and, you know, they go to work like that. And man, look, that was a dollar amount on that stuff that was lost, man. It was too much to kind of like bear with it. Like I went through some hard shit behind that, bro. Like I was really about to do something that I was gonna probably regret for a whole life.
Yeah, man.
That's
what I was going to ask you. That's going to be one of the questions I was going to ask y'all in terms of the production and the EP on the project and stuff like that. Did y'all self-produce this as well, to where y'all was having to bankroll some of this stuff? Did y'all have an investor? If that's not too much, you know, information you don't want to share.
No, we had some folks that was backing us for sure. I mean, we just ain't let them know, like, hey man, we got our stuff stolen. We ain't let them know that. So we just made it happen, because I know some people in Atlanta that filmed too. So it wasn't nothing to make a call and be like, hey, look, guys, I need y'all. Woo.
Yeah.
But I mean, just going through that whole thing of like, they stole all my livelihood.
Yeah, man.
You know,
right.
Like I really wanted to get them guys hurt, man.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
And you know, I work in IT, and I tell people this all the time, especially my dudes that's still in the streets. I'm like, bro, you don't know what's out there on the internet that's gonna get you caught up.
Yeah,
right.
I said, but I do.
Yeah, it's not really deleted.
Yeah,
yeah. They got tools out there they can find.
Yeah,
they can. All you need is a social media handle.
Right.
It don't matter if you change the name, the picture on it, or nothing. It don't matter.
Right.
There's a tool out there where you use it. You put in that social media handle, and it's gonna start grabbing data and start piecing it together.
Yeah.
And then I was able to find
digital footprint.
I was able to find those two guys, found out what they look like.
Yeah.
Just
They
from that
tweeted
social
about
media.
the night just on your social media. Because
Right.
y'all was so big on trying to, y'all could buy it back from us and all this. All right, bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all can play like that if you want.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. I guess y'all needed it more than what we did.
Right.
So, it is what it is. I'm gonna take my L, and I'm gonna be salty about it. You damn
Yeah.
right I will be.
Yeah.
But it's a lesson learned. I ain't gonna never move like that again. You ain't gonna catch me slipping. I'm gonna die about it.
Yeah.
Right.
But it ain't no L though at the end of the day, Preston, I promise you, because you guys seem like y'all got a spiritual foundation, which is not unusual for somebody out of the boot, right? So remember, what's stole from you, you're gonna get double for your trouble, bro. So you're gonna get double for your trouble. So they actually blessed you.
They did.
They actually blessed you.
Because what I got now, when we shoot with it, look a hole, man.
They actually blessed you, man.
Yeah. So we got Preston and Derek, the Dark brothers, directors of Blue Chippers, the Next Man Up. It's available on Apple. It's on YouTube as well. It's also on Prime Video. And I think one of the biggest things of this documentary, which was perfect timing, was the NIL and the transfer portal. Like those two things have changed the game forever. It will never be the same again. So I definitely wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, on NIL, the good, the bad, and ugly of it, what needs to be done to it, because I know obviously it's still so new that nobody really knows what they're doing. Is what it seems like. They don't really know how to control it. They're still trying to figure out how to navigate things. So
I'm gonna give you the bad about NIL.
Okay.
And I always like to start off with the bad. Okay, y'all know in the film, we got a 5-star kid, Jacoby Matthews. Okay, went to A&M, Texas A&M, right?
Right.
Freshman year, did pretty stellar. Didn't get crazy awards or anything, nothing like that. Sophomore year, did really great. Then we all know what happened at the sophomore year. Coach Jimbo Fisher got fired.
Yeah.
So, and I remember filming Jacoby, and I was on the sideline one time filming him in high school, and little did I know, I look up, and it's Coach Elko. I was like, "Hey, Coach," who you here for? "Oh, I'm here to check out Jacoby." Okay, Elko's defensive coordinator. Remember, he left after that first year and went to Duke to become the head coach.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so moving along, so the end of the sophomore season happens, and Jimbo gets fired. So Jacoby decides to say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna stay, and I'm not gonna transfer." But then the spring semester rolls around, and then he said, "You know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop in that portal." So you got to go to that office, the compliance office, and say, "Hey, look, I don't want to be a part of the team anymore. Sign your paperwork." Well, little did we know, A&M has a NIL collective. So the collective is paying you money monthly. I assume.
Yeah.
And so whenever he went at the beginning of the spring semester and say, "Hey, look, I'm transferring," the NIL collective money stopped.
You out of there.
So I know Jacoby had a car, he had an off-campus apartment, and he was taking classes that was on campus. Well, the NIL payment stopped, so the car had to go. You stand off campus, so you couldn't get the class.
Yeah.
Because you ain't got no car. And then guess what? They didn't transfer his classes from on campus to online.
Right.
So what he was left to do?
Drop out.
He had to drop out.
You can't stay.
Making him ineligible.
God dog, man.
Wow.
The clause.
I'm gonna tell you what really hurts. The kid had a 3rd-round draft grade. So all you got to do is come back the next year and literally just, I ain't gonna say show up, but just do the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Sophomore year.
Be there. Yeah.
And you're on to the NFL late rounds for sure. like all you gotta do is perform at the combine. You're gonna be one of those guys that, you know, of those 255 guys that's gonna get their name called to play on Sunday.
Yeah.
And people don't understand. He's a 5-star kid. You're 5-star. That means you're projected to go in the first round after things are all said and done.
Right.
And just to know that he's not in school. I mean, he's in school now, but he hadn't played football in the whole calendar year.
Wow.
Oh,
I was wondering. I was wondering what happened. You know, but
yeah, a lot of people speculated on him. You know, he had got arrested, but that was some frou-frou stuff, so that was thrown out. But it just that, man, you know, that decision that was made for him to not transfer immediately or stay, that really kind of ruined a lot of stuff that he had going for him.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this manipulation played a part in him staying, because he was lied to by a staffer at A&M, which that staffer is no longer with the program. He lied to him, talking about he was going to get promoted to, I guess, his position coach. And, you know, in college, whenever you're at that particular level and playing in those conferences, your position coach is the person that's going to get you.
That's right.
Get you looked at.
Yeah.
So
that's the one that's working closest to you.
Yes. So all those things happen, and man, you're sitting there. You know, that decision, that $6,000, $7,000 decision cost him $6-7 million.
Yeah.
So
that hurt. That hurt right there.
Man, I hurt for the kid, man, because I'm like, man, where was the money at? Like, who got to get money for the kid for him to, like, you know, where is the presence of mind to get him back on track as fast as he can? That was supposed to be a community.
Yeah, that's right, man. That's right. So, because now his path to the league is going to be as a UFA, you know, an undrafted free agent, you know, is likely, you know, going to be his path if he gets that opportunity.
Yeah. Could he go to, I'm not going to call it D2, but could he go to a D2 or FCS school and then transfer back into another school, or is?
Well, he got 2 or 3 years left of eligibility. So you know,
they have to walk home probably.
He probably still could get a scholarship.
Yeah, I was going to say he could probably go the same route Cam Newton did, step down a level, and then you come back up.
Well, that's why he's in school, because I know he's in like a junior college, but he's not playing. So like it's just like he's in community college, just making sure that he's taking the classes towards his major. So we haven't had much contact with him, you know, after we did the last follow-up interview with him. We haven't had that much contact with him. But I just be wanting to let dude know, like, man, look, we here for you, dog. Like any strings that you need to be pulled, we got a little juice left in the tank.
Yeah, reach back out to him, man.
Right.
You know,
I spoke with his dad, so they you know, we speak from time to time, and you know, they trying to get, you know, they getting back on track. So hopefully in the summertime, you know, we'll get with him and see what's going on. So hopefully we can see this kid play college football.
Yeah.
We need to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but NIL, the players were receiving 7% of the revenue. This is directly from y'all documentary. 7% of the revenue before NIL, 40% just in the first year after NIL.
Oh my gosh!
So they blew up the NCAA spot.
So you got kids that, you know, and again, they just mentioned the one. He was making $1 million and ain't ever played a college game yet. You know, hell, you know, Arch Manning, we bought it.
He's making more than some NFL players right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Arch, Travis Hunter was the same way.
Oh yeah.
But Derek, you wanna piggyback or add anything on the NIL transfer portal?
I mean, you know, that's the bad part about it, but the good part about the NIL is that, you know, you can see some of these kids change the dynamic of their family.
That's right, man.
You know what I mean? Like they, you know, I see where some of these kids come from. You know what I mean? And just to have some money so they can send home the mom or dad,
right?
You know what I mean? Take care of these siblings. You know, just being able to provide for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I think that's amazing, because some of these kids, like they they grow up in apartment living, project living, which it ain't a bad thing, but nobody in their family ever owned anything.
Yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now with NIL, like they own stuff, right? They got their own car, they got their own house. You know what I mean? They're able to provide, for their family. So that's something that I love about the NIL.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. What's gonna happen with this NIL, man? Okay, you heard it here first. The NCAA as a governing body is dying. They're withering on the vine. Okay, understand. As a governing body, the NCAA won't be around long. The control is slipping through their fingers, right? And these big conferences is going to do something completely different. Number one. Number two, college football is going to turn into another professional league. There will be some college kids who will stay in college they will be signing 10-year contracts before it's all said and done. And they will do nothing but play college football their entire career. They will never go to the NFL because of the money. You heard it here first. It sounds crazy. Watch what happens.
I can see that way, but you know what I also can see? That the NCAA is a governing body, and also they're a nonprofit organization, but this is an organization that brings in billions and billions and billions of dollars. The amount of employees that the NCAA has, I think, is only about 100. Right? So if they're bringing in billions and billions and billions and billions, I know they spend a lot of money on advertising. They can't be spending $5 billion on advertising, but I know they spend some money, right?
Right.
So for all the money that they generate,
right?
Because you think about we think about NIL, right? You got collective money, right? Then you got NIL, right. So let's separate the two. You got collective money, right. So the school has
sponsorship. NIL is basically from sponsors, business owners, stuff like
business owners, right? Just the outside people, right? Outside people, coming in and say, hey, look, we want to get this kid money, right? We just started with this manager at McNeese, Amir, right? The Aura, right? The kid just blew up all over.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So anyways, so that's that's the NIL. Then you got the collective, right? When you sign on to a school, right? They can brokers a deal, right? But I think the NCAA can regain control if they say, hey, look, we are going to be paying some of these students. We do give money to the conferences. That trickles down to the schools, right? But what happened if the NCAA decide to take maybe $1 billion or $2 billion? Right, which is just say for instance, he did $2 billion. You got $999 million 2 times, right? 2 times, You know what I mean? So, and we can divvy it up and start paying these players not on a Division I level, but a Division II level, and maybe the Division III level, and they can tier it, right? Because D3 don't bring in as much money as a D2.
That's right.
D2 don't bring in as much money as a D1 AA. AA don't bring in enough money as Division I, FCS. Then you got the FBS. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So I think if they want to regain control, they got to be the one that's cutting that check.
Yeah. But here the deal is, with that $2-3 billion that they making, that's what the conferences are going to see. They're going to be like, why would we give them that money? Why would we let them make that money when we can be making that money? And that's why I think they're going to have trouble regaining control.
Sure.
Because it's about that dollar.
It is.
And the players now have control with that transfer portal. Because before, you had to, I don't know what you had to wait a year. I think the transfer portal is kind of eliminated that. So if they decide they want to go somewhere, they basically go, like you said, go to the office, go to a computer, and see what teams out there want them. But go ahead, Preston.
What I'm saying is about that whole thing is but I had a train of thought in my head. Deion Sanders recently said, hey, look, I wanted to play my spring game against somebody else.
Oh, look at her.
I'm like, boy, you smarter than the cat.
That's right.
Boy, you smart.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
And you know how
money in that?
Man, but you see how much talk that generated? Because I'm looking at the media about this, right? And I'm like, man, I'm like, man, you didn't tell me they're gonna play a spring game and somebody else, and it's gonna be televised. Oh yeah, they're gonna be some money, dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's gonna be some money.
Yeah.
Like that's I know that's what Deion thinking because people are opting not to play in the spring game because they're so afraid of
Getting
the kids getting the kids hopping in the transfer portal and leaving, going somewhere in the summertime. Because that's the portal opened up too at the end of the before the summertime. So if you don't do well in spring, kids gonna transfer and then go try to make the team somewhere else in the summer.
Yeah.
So for Deion, he look at it like, hey, well, shoot, it is what it is, but I'm we're gonna get this money some type of way.
Yeah, right, we get this bag.
We're gonna get this bag, like he got the pro day coming on TV on the 4th on NFL Network. Man, I'm trying to see what Terry Hunter gonna run in the 40.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go ahead,
prime time.
Yeah.
I want to ask Coach something about the NIL, and maybe he do or does not know. But this is an idea that I had. Is there any way, like, you got this 5-star player, is there any way he can negotiate down off his NIL money? Let's say with us 3 are brothers, right? And I'm the 5-star player, and everybody in the country, I'm one of the top players in the country. Everybody chasing me, right? Is there any way you think that they could say, hey, you know what? Brian is the man, but I want my brother Preston and Derek to get a scholarship as well. Y'all keep the $3 million or the $2 million, but I want my brother's education to be paid for. Is that possible?
Shit, why not just pay it on his own?
That's right.
But take it out of their pocket. Okay, well, I want my money and I want my brother's education.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that could happen.
Absolutely.
I think that could happen. Like we seeing kids now, like with their NIL deal, like they want a driver from practice to practice, right? They want to provide transportation for their families to the games and from the games, put them up in the suites. Man, that costs money.
Yeah.
Having a private driver, man, that costs money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You paying for travel for 10 family members, that costs money.
Right.
So why not?
My cousin want to go too.
Yeah.
Because B.J. Robinson was at Texas driving a Ferrari.
Crazy.
See it?
Crazy.
And he had a deal with Ferrari.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned that a few times on my program, and I was like, I wonder should these children start saying, or if they got the right coaches or parents around them, should they start saying, hey, I got 2 other children. If you want to talk to my son, they need to be able to go to school.
Yeah. It's happening. There's some dads are even offered coaching positions at the college already. That's happening. My uncle needs a job at the college, to come coach me because he done coached me all my life. That's been happening for even before NIL took place.
Yeah,
that was happening.
Dad started coaching at Kansas.
And it's funny that Dawk mentioned that because as soon as the college season was over, that was the first thing they was on Deion.
Right.
The first thing they were on Deion going. Where his kids going? Is Deion going with him? He gonna follow him? He gonna coach him? I mean, that was a big thing. So yeah, it's funny you say that because you got a spot for you. That's definitely something that's popping up.
And I think this is so, as far as the NCAA, this is so far overdue that these players should be getting something, because anytime, I say this all the time, anytime you got Duke versus North Carolina basketball game, you can have Zion's face and whoever the star is for North Carolina. It ain't gonna be Coach K and Hubert Davis. It's not what it's gonna be. So this is way past overdue. I would say, man, get what you're gonna get. If they definitely gonna give it to you. But to HRap's point, if there's some negotiation you can do, put something in the contract or whatever it is, like the players are smarter now, which is the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I think the NCAA is they couldn't really, they didn't want to do it, so it ended up happening, in a more organic way. And now we're here, and NCAA football is back. So, and they seem like they just raised the money for that too.
I see, which I think is some bullshit. Cause like, man, come on, man, y'all know, $1,500 though.
Straight up,
right?
$1,500 though.
Stop it.
Yeah. For a semester.
Oh, they just $1,500 for one semester.
Yeah, that's
When I was in school, I could at least on NIL got $75, $80.
Man.
But yeah, so I appreciated what you guys did at the end. That's like one of my favorite parts of documentaries. At the end, when you say, "Hey, this is what he's doing now." So Quincy Wiggins committed to LSU. We already kind of touched on it. He transferred to Colorado, and he was more of a basketball guy. Like, again, it goes to the backstory. That's one of those things that I think we needed to see. He did look awkward playing basketball. So yeah.
Man, we flew all the way to Dallas, bro, just to see this kid score a bucket, and that's still in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think we got a rebound and 2 missed free throw attempts.
Yeah, and somebody was like, "Hey, bro, hey, come on to the field, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Put these pads on for a minute." This shows LT committed to LSU, and he is still. He's still at LSU, right? Or did
he transferred.
Did he transfer?
Oh, LT. Okay, I thought you were still on Quincy.
Yeah. LT transferred, went to Arizona State.
Okay.
Yes.
And he played a year, had a good year, and he transferred from Arizona State. Now he's at UNLV now, Coach Dan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jalen Lucas committed to Indiana University, transferred to Florida State. So this will be his first year at Florida State this upcoming year.
It'll be a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed that they were doing a really dynamic there too. Is he there with his brother?
Yeah, he played this past season with his brother.
Yeah.
You remind me of another guy come from y'all neck of the woods. Even look a little like a Warwick Dunn.
Oh yeah.
That's right, HRap.
Yeah. Same size, everything. When I saw him, that was the first person I thought. I was like, man, is that Warwick Dunn's son? He looked like him, built like him, run like him. I was like, man, this.
Good observation.
And then Jacoby Matthews, which we already talked about, Texas A&M. We just gonna speak it. That he'll get his next opportunity, take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, from the interviews that you guys did with his parents, he got good parents, so it's just a matter of getting things situated. So, and one thing you said at the beginning, I wanted to go back real quick, and then we'll kind of round things out. Louisiana is one of the states that are a major pipeline to the league. Why is that there?
Shit, that good combo. Yeah.
Shit, man. Like Jeremiah Gray said at the beginning of the film, most of the kids come from places of poverty.
Yeah.
And it just built different down here. It's just something in the water down here. It's we hungry. We got that chip on our shoulder.
That's the word I was waiting for.
Thriving. Yeah.
Hunger.
Insatiable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get to some final thoughts. So on each show, we give some final thoughts. So we'll kind of go around the room, and then we rate the film from 1 to 5 mics. So we'll kind of go around the room. We'll go with Wilks. Final thoughts and mic rating.
Once again, even the week before last week when we played the clip, because I hadn't seen any kind of trailer or preview since or before that, but yeah, I was ready. When I saw the trailer, I said, "Oh man, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a great one." I enjoyed it, and like I said, it made me think of the guys on the show and kind of my uncle, him being a coach, and just kind of being raised around sports. Definitely how these young men and women, but the young men in this, how they're it's light years, preparation from when I was playing, and probably, it's one of those things where, like you said, it's more, they don't see it now. It's more than football. It's more than, if it doesn't work out, there's another avenue, there's another door. But the point is, the documentary was good. I enjoyed it. 5 mics for me.
Yeah, Wilks, don't be so hard on yourself, brother. I know you ran a 5.340, but you can cook though, man. So
hey, for real, this dude.
It's funny because I was thinking about that chocolate cake. We gotta get to work. I gotta get to work.
It's time. Let's get close.
It's time.
Yeah. HRap.
Yeah, well, thank you guys for making this with the in-depth, personable angle, the quality of filming, and basically the care that the obvious care that you put into this. And thank you for helping me go back. When I played ball, I wasn't close to none of these young men. I was solid. I was a good ball player. I don't owe nobody for no student loans, thank God. But, man, this really warmed my heart, and I believe it's down there. It's down there because of the quality of people that are around these young men. You guys and other men that were around them here in Chicago, like what football is to the South, basketball is up here, and it's a bunch of money grubbing parasites. To hell with it. There's a bunch of money grubbing parasites up here that really don't care about the kids. They taking kickbacks and getting paid. And the men that was in this film seemed like the children were the number one issue. I know there's some parasites down there, but I honestly believe there's more people down there that love those children, because every time I turn around, there's somebody who used to be at U, somebody who used to be at LSU, somebody who used to be at Florida State, somebody who used to be at Georgia, and they're working with these children, which means to me that you guys actually care. And you showed the caring aspect, you showed the parenting aspect, you showed the mentoring aspect, and quality visual. So it was wonderful. 5 mics I would give it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And for me, it was a story. Like, you guys told a story. That's what great documentaries, great films are. You tell a story from beginning to end. You gave the details that we all enjoy. Whenever we watch something, we want to see those details. We want to see it. The cinematography was great. So, man, really well done. And definitely something that we will continue to recommend as we continue to do films and review them. It's definitely 5 mics for me too. I enjoyed it. All right, Dawk.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, I ain't scared to tell somebody just because they're on the show. I'll tell you what I really think about it. No, it's obviously 5 mics, but I'm gonna tell you why it's 5 mics. Documentaries that span multiple years, that takes some work, man. I give them credit for that. The way that it ended with the next man up, that's creativity, man. Using X's and O's to move between the segments. That's some good, I don't even know what category you would put that in, production, I suppose, but I love that. And then using the lock and unlock graphic for whenever somebody decommit to something. Those little things, man, that's a high level of professionalism. So it's because of those things, plus what the other fellas done said, man, to where I give it a solid 5 mic, man, all day long.
Yeah. All right. So Preston, final thoughts, and then also, what do you guys have coming up next? Or what's in the works, whatever you can reveal to us.
So right now, actually, we're working on the docuseries of Blue Chippers, and
cool.
And what we plan on doing is pretty much trying to settle the score of which state has the best high school football.
Texas.
So I mean, a lot of people say Texas.
Documentary over. What is it? A 4-horse race? Florida, Louisiana, Texas, California.
Ohio's up there.
I'm trying to get Ohio in there.
Georgia's really up there. Bama got some kids too, man. Yeah, Alabama got some folks, bro. Florida for sure. I'm gonna tell you, I stay in Houston, so just Texas in general, they just treat football a little bit different than what any other state treats it with the magnificent, massive facilities that they have.
Yeah. It looks like many colleges.
Yeah, I mean they really do. I mean we got high schools that's nearby, that's 30 minutes away, that literally have a covered practice facility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like covered, like they can go practice out. Which, but see, it makes sense to do that because it's so darn hot here. It gets stupid hot here. So I mean, why not have it? If you got a big booming place like Texas and millions of people moving here every so many years and whatnot, like you got to have that
right.
I mean, they just putting what people thought about, they just doing it.
Yeah.
They got the money. They got the money to do it. That's
They
where
got
it
the
would come
money.
down.
You can go to a little country town out here in Texas, and the whole town ain't worth but about $300,000, and then you get to the football facilities, and they worth more than the whole town worth.
Right.
I'm not kidding you. That ain't no
Yeah.
joke. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's like that within
Yeah.
30 to 45 minutes of here.
That's wild.
You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding. All right, Derek, final thoughts.
Man, I'm just glad that that I was able to make this film and just push through, because starting it was tough. You know, we got our cameras stolen. You know, probably like the third day of us filming.
Wow, I didn't know it was that early on.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. It was it was tough to go through it and just kind of persevere through that. And you know, it still kind of bothers me today. You know, because it was just like I said, man. It kind of like that was like our livelihood. That was kind of like all of, you know, it was just a lot. But you know, I think this film is just going to do tremendous as we keep getting the word out and keep pushing and building a brand of blue chippers, because blue chippers is the best of its kind. So anybody could be a blue chipper. It just you know, it just doesn't just correlate to sports, right?
Love it, man.
You know, to like you guys, right? You guys having your own show, man. You the best of your kind doing it. You know what I mean? Like everybody got their blue chip moment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what we want to build here. And you know, of course we're going to build it through sport, but you know, eventually, you know, we want to hear everybody's blue chip moment.
I love it, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's big, man. I mean, that goes a long way. So yeah, you guys are on that path, man.
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Well, definitely. Thank you guys for coming on. Would love to have you guys on again. So you know, keep us posted as far as when the docuseries is coming out. You want to give us a sneak
I just want to
peek?
ask I want to ask a quick question. How do y'all feel about 50 opening his facility, his place in Shreveport? Y'all got any? Well, I mean, you know, you're in your own lane, but you think you would do any filming there if y'all went back in the movies, or I don't know if you really care about all that. But.
I mean, 50, man, 50 come holler, man. Like, you know, hey, we got our screening. Actually, I got a screening in Shreveport April 17th. So, man, hopefully he sends a rep dog. He pull up himself, man, to come check us out, and man, maybe we can get something going. Yeah.
Keep us posted on that, man. I'm gonna be in Shreveport here within the next few weeks myself. But you know, in future years, man, I don't know how y'all got your Super Bowl credentials and who you hooked up with and stuff like that. But for the foreseeable future, BS3 Network should be in the building. So if y'all need any assistance from us, man, getting day passes, whatever the case may be, man, just keep in contact with us, and whatever we can do to lend a helping hand, man, we all for it.
Show, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, definitely y'all take care. And thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all for having us.
Yeah, man. Always.
All right.
Wrong person.
That was great.
All right. So that was Preston and Derek, the Dark brothers, blue chippers, and the next man up. You gotta watch this, not just because we had them on the show, but it is very well done. We will criticize anything. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
if it, you know, I mean, you can see my
trash.
notes. I'll show you my notes. And I got news for you. When I was taking my notes, I didn't even realize they were going to be on the show. You had mentioned that, but I forgot that. I was taking notes based on, you know.
So I reached out to Derek, and then when we got here in the studio, he was like, "Yeah, I got my brother too. He could come on too. Like we a duo. You know, we don't do anything."
Yeah, that's huge. So, that's great.
It was great. It was great having both of them on here. Man,
They're up, man. I gotta pee. Yeah.
I was gonna ask about the Marshawn Lynch, man. To be able to get him on here too was great. Showing his star rating as well. So let's round things out. End of the bench today.
Ironically, what I talked about was the 50 Cent thing in Baton Rouge.
What is it? It's a studio he's opening?
Yeah, he opened a studio.
In Baton Rouge or Shreveport?
It's Shreveport.
But
he's doing a Tyler Perry.
Yeah, he did exactly what Tyler Perry did, but the difference is he sided with the dark side. He was about, basically at some point, I mentioned at some point, I understand, look, no one opens a business with the idea of not making money. But at some point you are going to, when you come from, in my opinion, when you come from our community, maybe you don't need to make $16. If you clear your profit at $3, maybe you just can make the 8 instead of making the 16. Because he was trying to make the 16 by siding with the people who were going to take money from the infrastructure, from the Board of Opportunities and the schools, and to get him a tax break with this nonsense about the trickle-down effect. They've been talking about the trickle-down effect since 1980. It still hasn't trickled down. And they were going to get the teachers raises, right? But then you're going to turn around and close a lot of schools. This makes no sense. They are 41st in infrastructure, 41st in highway, 41st in academics, and you side with the people that were going to get the tax breaks for the rich people. Look, like I said, you are a multimillionaire, and I understand you didn't start making movies because you just wanted to do charity, but at some point you do. In my personal opinion, you have to just say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and pay these taxes because it's better for me to pay these taxes than allow these young people to suffer. And I was disappointed in that, so I spoke on it.
All right.
And I also
make sure to
spoke about
subscribe to End of the Bench Media.
Yeah. I also spoke about how Musk is trying to buy the election tomorrow in Wisconsin for Supreme Court Justice, state Supreme Court, and how the president is attempting to basically, people were wondering, well, why is he trying to privatize the USPS? He's trying to privatize the USPS because he just signed an executive order stating that if your vote is post-dated Friday, but they don't get it to the office until Wednesday, it won't be counted.
Right.
These are the things that we must be aware of.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Queen, Three, and King tomorrow.
Yeah, no new show tomorrow, but we are in the production of and planning and whatnot of one that is on fatherhood. Pastor Liam Harper will be back. If you were exposed to him, several weeks ago, the impact he made. So he'll be back. So we are in the process of getting that one together. So don't miss it next Tuesday again. It's on fatherhood. And the title is going to be "They All Have Dads." So it's going to be pretty good.
And last thing I'll say about this documentary is the village. Like the village was, we talk about it, was huge in this. You had the coach, you had the parents, you had the neighbors and friends, and all of that goes into raising young man or women. So
I think that's one thing that stood out to me because it was kind of like when I was growing up. It's funny because I always think about the conversation with my dad and my mom. Like when I was with my dad, they were doing Pee Wee football, and back in the day when it was like
Pop Warner.
Pop Warner, the little Eagles versus the little Lancaster Tigers or something like that. But it was always one of those, you're not going to have my son out there playing football or getting hurt. And, it was one of those conversations where it was just like, this is not something I see you being serious with. But now it's like these parents realize, you know what, my son is passionate about. Like, this is all he's in. And they show that one kid running drills in his yard. He's running drills in his yard, in the front yard, right there behind the fence.
Jalen Lucas looked like he was like 9 out there with the rope. With the rope.
That's what I'm saying. So it's definitely, that's why I said it's changed so much now. And I think the parents now in this moment, I think they're taking a step back. And it's like, hey, this is the path that my son wants or my daughter wants. But in this case, the young men, like, this is where they're moving to. I mean, showing all these young men showing up and how Marshawn was talking about the camps and how much they cost and which ones were actually available and free, whether if they weren't well known. But this was done very well. It was done very well, and it just the dynamic of when I was growing up versus now, and how it's like this is what I do now. Like I'm a professional in my own mind right now. Like this is my art. This is my craft. But I know Dawk's got a piss, so I'm gonna shut up. So
man, I'm in the kitchen.
All right. We didn't really do some shout outs. So let me just do that real quick. Niffin, Danny Thomas, thank you for coming through. Keisha, Jungle Brother, Harold. Appreciate you, D Gray.
Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes.
Denise, who Harold didn't sing not one lead
At all.
At all. With your name on the marquee. All right. So next week we'll be doing Den of Thieves 2 with Ice Cube Jr. So definitely pull up. We'll review that next week. We'll play this preview, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
You gotta be loaded. Isn't it enough? It'll never be enough. It's not about the money. It's about the challenge. Let's go, let's go! Can I get in? Can I get in here? And get out. We're clean, we're clean. Without anyone even knowing I was there.
You and I are part of this weird symbiosis. Is that you only exist because of me.
Word is that they fired your ass.
I'm broke and I'm sick of being the hunter. Your next job, I'm gonna do it with you. I want to meet these Panthers.
We are throughout the World Diamond Center.
The most secure building in continental Europe.
This costs 800 million euros.
So no more being sheriff for you.
I tend to hurt people's feelings.
You'll fit right in.
We will perform a time descent that will move us undetected as the cameras cycle through.
That's fucking involved.
3 seconds to green light. 2, 1.
There are no dead zones, so we'll have to create one. You feeling it?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. You gotta be fucking loaded. Isn't it enough?
It'll never be enough.
You stole something that belongs to us. You stole diamonds from the mafia? Like I fucking knew! Now what? Swim! I can't swim that far! I'm negatively buoyant! Don't you know David Goggins?
Watch our 6, those aren't police headlights.
Can you lose him?
Fucking trying, these dudes are drivers.
Let's just shoot him.
And the cop goes gangster.
On sort du zoo comme le titan bestial. Le diable est dans les tonnes et dans les détails.